In the fast, ruthless world of hip-hop, alliances can be as valuable as gold, and just as easily shattered. For over 2 decades, JayZ and Sean Diddy Combs seemed untouchable, two self-made moguls who rose from the streets to dominate not just music, but business, fashion, and culture. Together, they were a symbol of power and ambition. But their journey was never smooth. It began in pain, reached dizzying heights of success, and is now shadowed by scandal. The story starts in 1997, in the aftermath of a loss that shook the music world. The notorious B.I.G. had been murdered, and Diddy was left devastated. One night, in a dimly lit New York recording studio, Diddy sat alone, headphones off, staring at the floor. JayZ walked in quietly. "Biggie was family to both of us," he said. "We gotta keep building." That's what he'd want. The two clasped hands in a moment that said more than words, a silent agreement that they would keep pushing forward, together over the next few years. That pact held strong. They collaborated musically. JayZ featured on Diddy's Young G's, and Diddy appeared on Jay's I Know What Girls Like. But as their careers surged, the late 90s also brought trouble. In 1999, both men found themselves in courtrooms for very different reasons. JayZ was charged after a stabbing incident at the Kit Kat Club and received probation. Diddy, meanwhile, was caught in the chaos of a nightclub shooting while with Jennifer Lopez. He faced charges but ultimately avoided prison. Those brushes with the law could have ended their careers. Instead, they seemed to forge a deeper understanding between them.
It's 2020, y'all. Yeah. And it's different than when it was 2016. You know, the game has been elevated. As we can tell, there's no expense being spared. We had a black billionaire's lunch. Yeah.
By the early 2000s, their friendship was undeniable and public. They were seen at award shows, industry parties, and major cultural events. JayZ's romance with Beyoncé blossomed, and Diddy was a frequent presence alongside the couple. In 2003, Diddy worked with Beyoncé on the track Summertime, tying their worlds even closer. But it wasn't just about music. In 2005, when Hurricane Katrina devastated New Orleans, JayZ and Diddy stood side by side on live television, donating $1 million to relief efforts, a gesture that cemented their image as not just artists, but leaders in their community. Behind the scenes, their friendship had moments of lightheartedness too. At the 2007 Screamfest tour, in front of thousands, Diddy playfully smacked JayZ on the back during a performance, a public display of comfort and brotherhood. Kim Porter, Diddy's longtime partner, once laughed in an interview, calling their bond a secret society, a nod to the way they moved in unison, both in public and behind closed doors. As the years passed, they transcended music entirely. Both became business moguls, building empires in fashion, liquor, sports, and media. Forbes listed them among the richest men in hip-hop year after year. At one point, Diddy was valued at $550 million, JayZ close behind at $460 million. But JayZ eventually surpassed Diddy, becoming hip-hop's first billionaire. Still, their public camaraderie never seemed to waver. They appeared together at the Rock Nation brunch, at private events, and even on stage during the Bad Boy reunion tour in 2016. At one such brunch, Diddy raised his glass to JayZ and said, "To my brother. United we stand." Cameras flashed as the two clinked glasses, the image circulating as proof of their unbreakable alliance. Then came 2024, and with it, a storm. Diddy was hit with multiple allegations, including sex trafficking and sexual misconduct, accusations that threatened to destroy everything he had built. Then, a civil lawsuit surfaced. The optics shifted quickly. Where there were once photos of the two laughing and standing shoulder to shoulder, now there was silence. No public defense from JayZ. No joint appearances. No champagne toasts. Industry insiders whispered about whether JayZ was protecting his brand, his family, and his legacy, or if their so-called brotherhood had always been more business than personal. As Diddy's legal battles played out in court, the man once hailed as the king of the shiny suit era was now the face of one of hip-hop's biggest scandals. The verdict delivered a mixed outcome. Diddy was found guilty on certain charges related to prostitution but acquitted of sex trafficking and racketeering. Still, the damage to his image was undeniable. And for JayZ, the association had already left its mark. Old photos and videos of their golden years, the concerts, the charity moments, the laughter, now look like relics from another era. The friendship that began in grief, that survived legal troubles, that built empires, seems frozen in the past. From tragedy to triumph to turmoil, JayZ and Diddy's journey together is a reminder that in the world of hip-hop, loyalty is often tested, reputations are fragile, and some bonds, once broken, never return to the way they were. In the end, the story of JayZ and Diddy is not just about friendship, it's about power, survival, and the cost of legacy. They rose from the streets to the summit of global culture, built fortunes that redefined what a rapper could be, and for years moved as if they were untouchable. But scandals have a way of rewriting history. What began in shared grief and mutual hustle now stands as a cautionary tale. In an industry driven by fame and fortune, alliances can make you, but they can also break you. And for JayZ and Diddy, the bond that once seemed unshakable may be remembered as much for how it ended as for how it began.